Give it to him, pal. 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 Have you ever met the guy that you wanted to hate? And when you went to pull your straps, something told you to wait. Now let me give y'all a little demonstration. See, I ran into these dudes from the Aryan nation. It was a Friday, my day, exit off the highway. Me and Derelict in the caddy, yo, the flyway. Went to get a package of beaties. I was enjoying this immaculate evening. All of a sudden I heard somebody in the back of us beeping. Kind of annoying, like a track is repeating. They MO, harass some blacks this weekend. Well, me and D, we was actually creeping like some G's. We parked, I ain't never sleeping like MDs. Then I felt this crazy vibe and I'm thinking maybe why. Enter a white crazy guy with crazy eyes and a partner ready to start the Armageddon. F around and get deaded by the arm, leg on my head. Don't wanna have to go to war like this was Mecca. I'm only trying to broaden your perspective. But back to the lecture. Remember me and D whipping the caddy when this guy start jumping on the hood, going batty. He like 35. Turn to the side, I seen a 45. Contemplating maybe I should run and do like 55 MPA. But my knuckle game is NBA. He would've dropped that nickel plate, we would've been straight. He jumped down, hand on this ratchet, but I gave no fucks. So box put it in my jacket. Did I stutter, motherfucker? I will pull it in a second. Wreck shit, Jake quit. Hope you a good shot. Calling us the N-word, you know. Thinking he a gangster with his finger on the trigger. His partner thought he was boss and got caught out there by the color of my box. I swung, I tried to catch his partner in the lung. They broke the fuck out like hip hop breaks drums, and I'm cool, cause I don't get upset. Cool, cause I don't get upset. Cool, cause I don't get upset. Peace and love. Peace and love, this is yours truly, General Power and Only Shadows of the House of Hipstep. What's up, fam? What it do? Yeah, that song is called Cool off the NGR project. You know what I'm saying? I hope y'all enjoyed that. That's based on a true story, fam. That's based on a true story. You know? Everything that I rhymed in that song is true. And it was on a song I have called Cool, K-O-O-L, and it's available on Spotify, YouTube, and everything. And it's the third song off the NGR project, which again is the musical project to go along with my book, NGR, What Does It Mean? An expose on the N-word from a hip-hop perspective. Yes, right, by author P.E. McCallum. That's my author name, P.E. McCallum, but most of y'all just know me as Pow Shadowz, the General. And I salute y'all, man. Sending y'all peace and love. And look, you know, right now we have a very interesting show today. We have another great and informative show today because, you know, we're dealing with something that is quite interesting. You know, we have that song Cool that I just played for y'all. Again, it's by Pow Shadowz, K-O-O-L. I suggest you go download that and stream it. But it's about me being attacked by two white supremacists, you know, two members of the Aryan Brotherhood from prison. And now I know, because of YouTube and the stories that I've watched, that the Aryan Brotherhood has a very strong presence in the prison system. You know, so he made a point. What I didn't say in that song is that as he was pulling the gun on me and my friend, calling us the N-word, trying to provoke us so he could have a reason to shoot us, he said, one thing he said, y'all ain't never met a white boy like me from the I'm from the penitentiary. And see, back then I was like, I don't know, 20 years old, 19, 20. I didn't know anything about why he would say that. But now I know that in the pen, the Aryan Brotherhood is thick, because when you go to the penitentiary, and those who've been to the pen know, it's very race divided. It's divided by race. You have the whites, the blacks, the essays or the Spanish people, and the others. You know, sometimes they break down into Native Americans and other groups like that. But it's very much race. In some prisons it's city, but in all prisons it's race. In some prisons it's city, but all prisons is race. So and I didn't understand that. But you know, so when people talk about
try to tell me things like white supremacy doesn't exist. Yeah, all right. But you know, this show today is dealing with this situation that we just had. Charlie Kirk, right? Charlie Kirk is somebody that just was recently assassinated, and I'm not making mockery of him on my platform. That's not what I do. I'm not here to talk about him after he's dead because he's not here to defend himself. But I do want to talk about him, and I want to review some things about him because Charlie Kirk was a white supremacist, and he held white supremacist ideologies. And if he wasn't a white supremacist, he held white supremacy ideologies, and I don't know how you can hold these ideologies without being one yourself. So let's look at let's look at some of the things that Charlie Kirk talked about, and then we're gonna get into my book, NGR, What Does It Mean? And I'm not gonna hold back today. I'm gonna keep it 100% a buck with y'all today. And you know, the problem with the white supremacy population, right? The white supremacy groups is that they don't have knowledge, right? They have information, certain information that they think they know, but they really think that they know some things. But when they come across a person like me who really does know, who actually has done the knowledgeable research, then they find themselves in front of a different circumstance, and because they never seen a person like me, or they don't rarely encounter people like us because they kind of sit in their own world, but they don't have the true knowledge of us. And this is why I encourage y'all to go get my book, NGR, What Does It Mean? Because books like this book goes into the origin of the etymology and the history of the N-word and who the so-called black people are and were in history and historically. And when you read the book, you find out about our greatness. And we're gonna dive a little bit into my book. We ain't gonna go too in depth, but we're gonna get our point across today. Yeah, we're gonna get some understanding today. That's what we're gonna do. But let's look at this. Just so y'all know, many of y'all who are talking about Charlie Kirk, I wonder if you knew his philosophies. I just wrote down just 4 of his ideologies. One of Charlie Kirk's ideologies is that gun deaths are worth it. That means that it's worth some people dying, being casualties of gun deaths in order for us to have our guns and protect the Second Amendment, our right to bear arms. And even if some people gotta die, those gun deaths are worth it, right? And then ironically, he became a victim of gun violence. So you have to watch what you say, because the universe will cause you to practice what you preach. Number 2, black women are affirmative action picks. So that's his second ideology. He thought that black women were just black women who were in professional places of business, on professional positions in business. He thought that they were just there because affirmative action picked them and said, hey, you know what, you guys we have to have you. Affirmative action mandates us to have you in these positions. Not that any of them got there based on the merit of their intelligence or their skill set. Number 3, black pilots are not qualified. This is what Charlie Kirk believed. Black pilots are not qualified. So he didn't believe that black people, so-called black people, or black and indigenous people, as I refer to us in the book, are qualified to be pilots. Okay. And number 4, and these are just 4 of his ideologies, his white supremacist views. Black women do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken seriously. Charlie Kirk said that black women do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken seriously. And that's just 4 of the things that Charlie Kirk said. And these are white supremacist ideologies and views. These are racist views. And So, you know, if he wasn't a racist, he definitely supported the ideologies. And so usually if you talk like a duck, then, you know, you quack like a duck, etc. But I never met him. I don't know him, and I'm not making mockery of his death. But I'm a person that likes to have the facts. And those are the facts. Those are the facts. So, you know, we just always want to deal with the facts. But what I want to deal with is, in my book, NGR, What Does It Mean? If you go to, let's see. If we go to page 41, all right, then I'm going to read, and this is from Controlling the Narrative of the N-Word, in my book, NGR, What Does It Mean? An expose on the N-Word from a hip-hop perspective, available on Amazon right now on your Amazon app, in paperback, audiobook, and also Kindle. And let's read from page 41 in my book, NGR, What Does It Mean? See, because I doubt that people like Charlie Kirk ever heard this. As I stated previously, the Greeks invaded what we now call Ethiopia and Egypt. And finally, the article states that the first people to corrupt the term NGR were the Roman invaders of Egypt around 30 BC, who may have heard the term used to describe the leader of Egypt or Nubia. Niger was later used to mean any black Negroid person the Romans saw in Africa or anywhere else. The term, the N-word, right? Nigger, as we know it today. This is where it originates from. And this is just one paragraph in my book. That's why I suggest you all get the book. Listen. According to an article on introducingegypt.com titled Greek and Roman Egypt, first the Romans invaded Egypt, or Kemet, then the Greeks. It states, following several centuries of Persian rule from 525 BCE, the ancient Egyptian empire finally fell under the conquest of Alexander the Great in the year 332 BCE and subsequently formed part of the Greek, the Ptolemaic kingdom, and the Roman Empire. During these periods of Roman and Greek rule, they first encountered the NGRs and began to refer to them as such. And NGR means emperor, ruler, or king, according to the 14 definitions that the author E.A. Wallace Budge lists in his book, an Egyptian Hieroglyphic Dictionary, and where he lists over 14 definitions for the N-word, and they all refer to something aggrandizing, emperor, ruler, divinity, things like that. This is where the N-word comes from. So these white supremacists love to call us the N-word. I never heard Charlie Kirk use the N-word, right? But just doing some research, these are some of the quotes that I quoted earlier. I heard him say, which are clearly white supremacist ideologies. If you hold these ideologies, you are considered a racist. And see, the reason that I wrote my book, right, is for people like us, so that we can have the knowledge of who we truly are, where we really come from, right? We come from greatness, right? Black people, so-called black people, and I say so-called because what they call you black, but see, in their language, they have a disrespect, because if you look up the term black, then in the English dictionary, in the Merriam-Webster dictionary, it's not very favorable. The European languages not have very favorable definition for the word black. But if you look up the word white, it is very favorable. And I give you those details. I thoroughly show you in the book. It'll blow your mind. Or why you wonder why I say so-called black people. You know, and I know all of I have all of the books of Honorable Elijah Muhammad and all these great scholars who refer to our people, the Black Panthers, Black Power. I'm from Africana Studies. I have a degree in Africana Studies, so I study deeply. I know where the term Black Power comes from. In fact, I know the individual who coined the term. His name is Mukasa Papa Ricks. or AKA Willie Ricks. Google him. He and Kwame Ture, aka Stokely Carmichael, they coined the term Black Power. So I understand black, but when you look up the word, the definition of the word black, you'll see what I'm talking about and what has been done. But yeah, fam, they don't understand that people, they love to call these people, these racist white supremacists, love to call us the N-word, but they don't know what they're calling us. And they demean us and say that we're not qualified. Charlie Kirk said black pilots are not qualified and black women do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken seriously. Now, Cypher, that's incorrect, because we are descendants of the NGRs, right? Your ancestors, the Greeks, the white supremacist ancestors, they are the Greeks and these people from Europe. And these Greeks from the Ptolemaic period, when they encountered the NGRs, in fact, they began to call us Nigers. The NGRs were the emperors, the rulers, the kings. Now, we were overthrown, but they know we are well qualified to fly planes, to be pilots, and that black women do have brain processing power. What about Queen Nefertiti? What about Madam C.J. Walker? She didn't have brain processing capacity. What about the women that was depicted in the movie about NASA? Right? I can't think of the name of it. Hidden Figures is the name of it, actually. Did they not have the brain processing power? The movie, the 4 black women in the movie Hidden Figures, did they not have brain processing power? So these are lies and things that make white supremacist and racist people feel good, but they're not true. They're just not true. We are descendants, black and indigenous people in North America and all over the world are descendants of great kings, queens, emperors, rulers, the NGRs. And I give you more proof and evidence of that in my book, NGR, What Does It Mean? An expose on the N-word from a hip-hop perspective. Get it today. It's available on Amazon right now in paperback, audiobook, and Kindle, so that you can control the narrative of the N-word. All right, peace and love, fam. Hey, remember, spread love, not hate. And this is just a platform to address these things head on. I don't sugarcoat. I don't pussyfoot around, man. No, we get right to it. Spread love, not hate. Keep hip stepping. Don't let nobody stop your hip step.